Yar me mateys, yo ho. Welcome to Respawn Aim Fire BARF edition. That's backlog accomplishment with Respawn and friends, where we're talking about a game from our backlog that we played. We accomplished it with friends. And the game was 2023's Dredge.
Dredge.
Ooh, spooky
Dredge.
fishing. Today I have with me my first mate, Chad Michael Ennis.
I'm your mate. I'm your mate. That's me. That's my voice.
Oh, it's Parrot Chad. I was wondering what that voice was for a moment.
Yeah,
and we also
that's
with
just
us.
I had to clear my throat.
That's just Chad. How it sounds. Yeah.
Regular.
Also, we have with us swabbing the poop deck. Alex Casino.
Correct me if I'm wrong. The poop deck just refers to like the entirety of the deck. Am I correct about that, or is it like a specific section of the deck? Because
It's
if
one of those,
it refers to
home
the
is where you
ahead.
are kind of things, where it's like wherever you happen to be and you're pooping, it doesn't matter what deck it is, below deck, above deck, around the outside of the deck.
That would imply that back in the day, pirates and sailors were just pooping all over the boat every which way. No single spot of the top of the boat was safe from poop, which is truly frightening to behold.
And you think, where else are you going to poop on the seas?
I mean, that's true. It's not like there's a giant body of water that you could just poop inside of and get rid of the poop cleanly.
So
Impossible.
the poop deck is the top of the cabin on the backside of the ship. So basically, where in a lot of pirate movies, where the wheel is,
Where the
that
captain
level
stands and
is
yells
called
orders.
the poop deck. Yeah. There's not an explanation of why it's called poop. But
Maybe it's
is
because,
called poop.
there's like old timey like steering wheels on boats. The little like the spokes that stick out from them, they kind of look like giant poops. Like they kind of have like that bulbous like appearance to them.
No, by the way, we're going to get to Dredge in a second. Cozy, you'll love this. The name originates from the French word for stern. Poop? Poupe?
Poupée.
It's a French word that sounds like poop, so people just said poop deck, but technically it just means back of the boat.
Yeah,
Anyways.
it's very on brand for French.
Yeah, absolutely. We are talking about Dredge. Again, Dredge is a 2023 fishing horror role-playing adventure game developed by Black Salt Games and published by Team 17. You are a fisherman who encounters increasingly Lovecraftian creatures as he ventures forth out into an open-world archipelago. Again, released in March 30th, 2023 for every system. It has an 85 on Metacritic and is well regarded as one of the better indie games for the year that it came out. And yeah, boys, I'm going to start with I'm going to start with Chad because I have an idea where this is going to go.
Whoa.
Chad, give me your quick thoughts at the top, how you felt about Dredge. Or actually, real quick, let me, just for anyone in case someone has no idea what this is and they're just clicking on this. Dredge sees a player controls a small motorized fishing boat. The game has a day-night cycle where specific action the player takes, such as sailing or fishing, push the clock forward. You capture fish, you arrange them on your ship, sort of like Tetris / Resident Evil thing. And then there's a story about, the creeping eldritch horrors that is coming to claim this fisherman's soul. Anyways, Chad, how did you feel about
Pay the
Dredge?
troll toll if you want that boy's soul. My high level thoughts, was that the prompt? Let me tell you about Dredge. It's a game I opened up on my PlayStation 5. Thanks, I think, to PlayStation Plus
Real
Extra.
quick, just a quick timeout. I just want to say real quick, I forgot. I don't know why. It's been so long that we've last done one of these reviews that I forgot that straight up, both of you will like not finish these games from time to time. Myself included. I didn't finish that John Wick game. From back
Nobody
in the
said
day.
I didn't finish this game yet.
Okay, go on.
He's also telling the same story from a week ago where he also opened the game for the first time.
Listen, it's a journey. You open the game. That's the first step of playing the game, is you open it. I opened it up, and within probably 10 minutes, I knew, oh, fuck, this is not a chat game. This is not a chat game.
Oh, no.
There's resource management. There's the fucking Resident Evil. You can only carry this many things and you have to arrange them in the right way in order to get from here to there kind of shit. And then it's also just all around fishing and fish and boats and sea life. And it's not
Fishing
what
and
I'm
fish.
all about. And so after about 15 minutes, I said, how much of this do I have to play before it counts as me having played it for BARF? And then at about 17 minutes, there was something spooky and mysterious that happened. And I said, ooh, go on. And then I played about 10 hours of it over the weekend and finished it last night at about 11.
Whoa!
Got both
What a
endings.
swerve.
And I
What
was
a plot twist.
super into this game. Yeah, this game was great. I had a good old time with it in spite of all of those things I mentioned before. It stayed around the right amount of time. Each level, like, just barely started to get tired of being in that environment or seeing those same fucking fish again, or, oh God, I got to start crabbing now. I got to actually use the crab nets and shit before I, was able to bounce and go to the next place and work on the next objective and things like that. The next new MacGuffin. Yeah, it was definitely the atmosphere that, if this was the same exact gameplay, the same exact everything, but had a completely different, like, just ambiance, even if the characters are the same, I think it's literally just the ambiance, the weird red eyes and the fog and the amazing, I don't know, can you call it a score? Can you call it a soundtrack? I don't know, just the sounds and tones that are kind of persistent throughout. The soundscape, yeah. That's what kept me in it. I'll be honest, even the story itself was not like super enthralling to me, and I was not like, oh, I gotta see how this ends. But I was just like, yeah, this is spooky as shit, and I love being in it. So yeah, I finished it, had a good time with it.
Yeah, very cool. I threw me for a swerve there. Cozy, give us your top level thoughts about Dredge, which I know that you've done something in the game.
Yes. So my journey to Dredge was interesting because prior to playing Dredge, I'd played the Dave the Diver and Dredge collaboration DLC last year, did you play that DLC, Chad?
No, remember when we did Dave the Diver after about 10 minutes and I found out it was a resource management thing and hunting fish and being in the sea? I said, fuck this game, I'm out. And then I didn't.
Adam, was it you that played the DLC? Am I mistaken about that? The Dave the Diver Dredge DLC.
I have it. I just didn't play it.
No, it's not. I thought I remembered someone on the podcast talking about having played it. I bet it was Joel probably played it. Anyways, and so I played that DLC, and I remember at the time being really impressed.
Hold on, Cozy. What? You have to rewind. People aren't following. Joel in the chat says, Cozy didn't say that he launched the game. How can he play it without opening it? Yeah, I set the standard. You gotta take people on the journey. Learn a little bit of storytelling.
Technically, I haven't even gotten to talking about Dredge yet.
I'm still in Dave the Diver
territory.
But did you open Dave the Diver or not? I can't tell.
Yes, I launched Dave the Diver on my PlayStation 5.
Okay.
I can officially confirm that I started the game. I got past the splash screen. I adjusted the subtitle settings, and I played the game for probably 45 hours.
Dave the Diver?
For you. Yes.
Okay.
Dave the Diver.
This is about Dredge.
Dave the Diver. Yes, but I need to talk about Dave the Diver before I can talk about Dredge to set the scene. Speaking of which, so I played the Dredge DLC and Dave the Diver, and I remember at the time being really impressed because, Dave the Diver is this entirely 2D experience, and the Dredge DLC basically turns Dave the Diver into like an entirely 3D exploration game where you could like physically get into a boat and like cruise around and then find spots where you want to go and dive down. And it did once I finally got to Dredge, to just jump forward a little bit in time for a moment, it did slightly take a little bit off the sheen off of how impressive I thought the Dave the Diver's DLC was. Once I finally got to play Dredge and realized, the gameplay of the Dave the Diver DLC was basically just taking the gameplay of Dredge, but like putting it in the Dave the Diver world. Still really impressive. Outside of that, didn't really know much about Dredge other than that was this, cosmic horror themed fishing game. What's funny though is last year, I know I keep bringing up games before we properly get to Dredge, but I got to bring up this game as well. We played a little game that was co-hosted by myself and Adam called Gaming Athlon, specifically the second horror-themed Gaming Athlon, which had a whole bunch of horror-related trivia inside of it. One of these sections of the Gaming Athlon game that we played was called Who Am I?, where you reveal a bunch of horror-themed video game characters, and you, Chad, and a couple of our other contestants had to guess what those characters were. And if you remember, Adam, one of the characters in that segment was the collector from this game. And
don't remember that. I wrote that question. Don't remember it.
Well, it was interesting because, like, normally with all the other characters that, you know, I inserted into that particular segment, I was able to get like high res, like PNGs of like their bodies with no background. Sometimes I had to key out the background, but it was still a full body image, so it worked out fine. With this collector character, he was framed inside of what seemed to look like some sort of mirror. I was like, this is really annoying. And also the frame of like the bottom part of the mirror was partially cut off by the in-game text boxes of people speaking. I scoured the internet for like a bunch of different walkthrough videos of Dredge to see if I could get like a better image of him. Wasn't able to find any of him. So I eventually had to just take the best image of this collector character I could get. And I had to like reconstruct the bottom of his like mirror frame thing to basically make it look as good as possible and not give the impression that it was partially obscured by a text box. All that to say, I'm definitely going a little off the wheels here. I was aware that there was a suspicious character in the game called the Collector, and that for whatever reason, when you encounter him, he was always pictured inside of what looked like a frame or mirror of some sort, but I never thought too deeply about the game beyond that. Didn't know all that much about the game beyond that. Guys, it's finally time. I can finally confirm that, yes, I turned on Dredge on my PlayStation 5 console. I don't know if it was a PlayStation 5 version of the game. It might have been the PlayStation 4 version. Either way, I really enjoyed Dredge. I logged a whole lot of time into the game. I, expected it to be a horror fishing game with all sorts of grotesque fish that you could capture. What I didn't expect was for Dredge to essentially be, like, in my opinion, a really great action adventure game in the tradition of something like The Legend of Zelda, or more specifically, something like The Legend of Zelda, The Wind Waker. Obviously, I'm stretching the definition of action here a little bit, but I was really impressed with how the game managed to scratch the same itches as something like Wind Waker, with things like its fantastic sense of exploration, just the puerile pleasure that comes from sailing the seas, the joy of finding, or rather in this case, dredging up treasure, and just the satisfaction that came with solving a bunch of the game's environmental puzzles to advance the story. And, crucially, unlike other examples of action-adventure games that are evocative of the Wind Waker, like the Assassin's Creed games, for example, this game is short and to the point. It's not 1 million hours long. Only took me about 10 hours to beat. Only took me about another 5-6 hours to platinum. It was in and out, didn't say anything more than it needed to say, and I really appreciated it for that. I do have a few small quibbles here and there, but we will get to those a little bit later.
Very cool. I also launched Dredge and finished it. I like the game a lot. Good times. Now, I'd actually started this back when it came out, and then I'd got basically 75% of the way through it, and then did it for BARF and then finished it up. So it's like, oh, yes, that's right. This game is great. And then I finished it. Like, yes, it's also very good. So that's it for that. So I guess we can go into full spoiler stuff now. By the way, that we can't talk full spoilers. I'm trying to figure out what way do we want to do this. Okay. I just want to talk about I want to talk about the ending, obviously. But the first thing I want to talk about is obviously it starts out as a normal fishing game. Things get weird very quickly, and you start dealing with a lot of sea monsters. Do you guys have a favorite sea monster or encounter or boss fight or area or whatever that was your favorite? I will say 2 for me. I like the anglerfish fake boat things. Those things are great.
That was really cool.
You'll be out at night and you're like, oh, there's another boat or whatever out there. Yeah. And you get close and it's actually a big fish. By the way, if you honk your horn at it, it will repeat the exact same thing that you do because it's trying to lure you over. So to see if am I going crazy or is that actually a boat out there? It's like a beep, beep, beep. And if you're beep, 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 go the other way because you're
you get
done.
You get a bronze trophy for doing that, actually.
Yeah, it's very fun. I like those.
Like non-monster boats out there. I just assumed after the first time that I came across that thing, and then I was just like, oh, every boat go the opposite direction.
There is a hallucination boat. There's like a giant boat that you can hallucinate that's non-threatening, but doesn't actually exist. When you approach it, it disintegrates. But there aren't any, to my knowledge, I don't think that there are any other boats out there that are friendly.
Not that I remember. Yeah, but to see if it's either a hallucination, fine, just hallucination, or if it's a dude that'll kill you, just honk the horn at him. And then the other one for me was is it like the research I forgot what they call it, but the one with all the bioluminescent things,
Yeah.
and at the bottom of that deep ass crater, there's a fucking big tentacle monster with a beak or whatever. Love that fucking shit. That whole area was great. I'm like, oh, this is just a Kraken from any movie or book that you've ever seen, but I really like that area. It's like, oh, bioluminescent, just go out into that deep water and then get fucking swallowed whole by a Kraken. So I fucked with that area heavy. It was very cool. What about you guys?
Yeah, the anglerfish was definitely a huge highlight for me because like the game gives you no indication that something like this could possibly happen. It's a very like clever, subtle disguise. And I definitely got more than a couple of times, kind of not expecting it to be what it ended up being. That was definitely like, it definitely added a new level of like fear and complexity to sailing out at night that I really loved.
Mine was the anglerfish. I think that maybe that was the first thing that made me go, ooh, maybe this game is interesting and worth sticking around and not just a fishing sim. But the next two weren't like the thing in the middle of the research area or the one in the forest area that as long as you just stay still, it doesn't fucking do anything to you. Like those two, they weren't threatening to me. Like even though I was sticking to the islands and exploring the islands around the research area anyway, and then found out before I even tried to go there that there was something in the middle from the researcher lady. So like that one, anyway, those didn't hamper my progress at all. But the one that did, like the first challenge to me was the one in the final area with the lava area and the little baby fish everywhere. Because until you come across, until you find the island in the middle that, you have to go light the torches or put the flames in. And then there's those columns that tell you about how the fish work. They're just like, oh, there's these fucking fish. And they're, swarming around me and like nothing happens right now. Like they're just annoying, I guess. And then I found out like, oh, I drove over this lava thing and they run away. Cool. I didn't realize the more fish that you have on you, they're calling out to this giant mama fish that's just constantly going around. And that shit was scary. And once I realized that's what was happening, and then I was like, don't worry, I got a skill that I've never used before because nothing's ever been threatening to me. And it was the one skill that allows you to banish anything evil around you for like 10 seconds. And I was like, there we go, I'll just use this. And then I found out it had like a 700-hour refresh on it. And I was like, oh my God, I can only use it once? What? So yeah, that one got my heart going, got my heart up.
That obviously the game forces you to use some of those abilities sparingly, but something I really appreciated about the game is the game gives you, all these curses / abilities from the collector. And at first, like I will definitely admit, didn't use them a whole lot because I'm like, I'm just going to contend to play the game as is. I don't need, a lot of these things that will speed up time and make things more efficient for me. By the end, especially once I got into the kind of trophy hunt for every last trophy to get the platinum, like almost all of those abilities I found to be incredibly useful. The one ability that I was like surprised came in really useful again once I was getting in the final throes of the trophy hunt is the ability that will automatically harvest all the fish from a like nearby fishing spot. Because what I discovered is if you don't yet have a certain aberration of a certain kind of fish, that ability will like automatically 100% of the time always make that particular aberration harvested when you use that ability in like the right circumstances. And so I really loved all those abilities, and I agree that obviously you can spam the one ability to repel certain enemies like constantly, but even that had its uses here and there.
Oh boy, I always use haste constantly.
I think I tried haste when it first gave it to me and then never ever use it again.
Never stopped using it, bro.
Oh, really?
Get across the whole map in fucking 10 seconds. It's great. It's wonderful.
Were you concerned that you were going to be cursed? Because the game really sets up like, oh, this ability is a cursed ability. Like, did you not want to use it because you're like, oh, this is going to have repercussions down the line?
No, I think it was, I didn't use it because I like min-maxed my boat with engines as soon as I possibly could. So like my speed of my boat was never really an issue. Like I could get places before dark set in and I could outrun pretty much anything. So I just never really had a need for it.
That was something that was annoying / fun, is like figuring out like the most optimal like fishing rods and like trawl nets, whatever they're called. The nets, we'll just call them nets. Figuring out the most optimal like combination of like equipment at your disposal to allow you to do the most amount of things and also still be able to move fast and nimbly and fish fast and so on.
Yeah. It was obnoxious too when you're like, yes, I finally unlocked the thing that gives me like a whole bunch more storage spots on my boat. And then you're like, and then I fill it up with all this equipment that now can fit in that spot. And now I'm back down to the shitty amount of storage that I had. It's like, damn it. Now I got to go get a bunch more of this fucking cotton linen sheets or whatever it is, and the wood and the screws and shit. Oh, those things, anytime I came across those, whatever was in my boat at that moment, it could be the most ugly ass, weird, deformed octopus fish, whatever. That shit's going in the toilet because I am picking up that wood. I am picking up those screws.
Oh, you want those upgrades. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Chad, you, at the beginning of the review, you alluded to not really loving the whole like Tetris / Resident Evil style inventory management system.
That's why I couldn't. We did a BARF for Resident Evil Remake once, just like the first one. And I was like, as modern as this game is, I cannot stand at these 5 or 12 slots in my inventory and having to run back across the map to put something in a trunk and get the right thing out and then go find the door. Couldn't do it.
I didn't hate it per se, but one of my small little quibbles with this game is I wish that the game provided you with some sort of option to be able to do like an auto arrange like the things that you currently have in your inventory. Even if I would have been totally fine if it was like, hey, you're given a new curse / ability from the collector. You can now auto arrange things, but it will increase your stress level. It will have some sort of minor negative repercussion. Maybe one of your fish will randomly get dropped from your inventory. Like, I would have been fine if there was some sort of negative repercussion to using such an ability, so long as they still had the option. But they never provided that.
Let me tell you, I told you I upgraded my engines first, make my thing super fast. Bit me in the ass in that last area where everything are these really narrow corridors, and like I just barely touched the left stick and it's like smashing into a wall. Motherfucker, gotta go back and repair my hull. Lose something really valuable because it just like is now in the ocean. It's a good game.
It is a good game. Here's a kind of related to that. So I'm gonna talk about like, because we talked about fish, talked about areas, and we're talking about characters before we get into the story stuff, because there's an interesting thing that I didn't know. When I first initially played this game, so again, you're in this big area, there's little islands all over the place, there's things you can discover. There are the guys who are in the robes, right? Who are like, yo, I'm so fucking hungry.
Yeah.
Right? Apparently a patch came out, I think last year, maybe it was a little bit before, not when I played it, that removed the ability for those guys to die. Because those guys die if you don't feed them quick enough, because they're like, I'm so hungry. Now they'll wait for you to bring them food. So at the time, I didn't get half of those guys, because I talked to them like, oh, cool, I'll come back to this later. I came back and like, there's a corpse. And it's like, oof, rough. So I thought that was really interesting. But also interesting, the color that those guys have on. And there's a lot of things. It's very Lovecraft heavy, obviously, this game, which is like they wear it right on their sleeves. But any fun characters you guys liked or met? I love the guys in the robes who died because I didn't give them fish.
What's funny about the guys in robes is in the Dredge DLC for Dave the Diver, you know how in Dave the Diver, like people will come into your sushi restaurant, they'll order sushi, you got to serve it to them. It's very Diner Dash-esque. In the DLC, all the normal patrons are replaced with like hundreds of those people in robes. They all come in and are like, give us sushi made from bony fish, and you basically got to serve them. And you have to, if we're talking about other characters in Dredge, really love the like vendor / owner of like the houseboat who like exists in each of like the 4 quadrant areas. I forget her name. I don't know if she even has a name.
The merchant
Maybe she's
girl?
just called the Merchant Girl. Yeah, she shows up in the Dave the Diver DLC as well, and she's the person that explains the kind of rules of the way that things function in the DLC. But she also is like, but if you don't want the like robed figures to show up anymore, I can just tell them to go away. So she seems, I have my suspicions. I think that she is more in touch with the arcane than perhaps she lets on in this game.
Who's the Merchant Girl?
Her credit is Traveling Merchant.
There we go.
Gotcha. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
She got the little yellow hat and the red coat on. Mm-hmm.
Liked her a lot.
I honestly didn't. I didn't do a ton of the side quests, so I didn't interact with a lot of the characters that much outside of just like you have a weird, creepy line of dialogue, or your kid's dead, and anytime I ask you about anything else, you're just like, I told you what I said, and that's it. I was like, okay. So yeah, there were never any characters that like I really connected with, or like, oh, I can't wait to hear what this person has to say about blah blah blah.
Ooh, you know what?
It is
I
interesting
also
to hear
liked?
about the robed figures. You mentioned the fact that they could die, and I did have this feeling throughout the entire game of like watching the count of days go up on the top of the screen, and I was wondering, I was like, oh, that's going to matter somewhere. That's going to, if I beat the game in a certain number of days, does something happen? Or if I take too long to do, and then yeah, it never did. But I guess that's what it was. I never saw any consequence of taking or saw how those days affected anything else in my game. So
yeah, I don't think that they did.
Just
I don't think so.
robed guys died if you did that 2 years ago.
Which they give you good upgrades for your ship is why. I mean, you were talking about your ship getting broken up. You get upgrades from those guys. So
yeah, I did one of those guys. I gave him all 3 fish, and he gave me a book to read. And I was like, okay, cool. And then I saw another one. I was like, I only got 1 of your fish, and I got plenty of books. I don't need more books. Thank you. So I didn't do anything else.
It is weird. It is weird that those like Lovecraftian robed individuals that like want like the gullets and hearts of like weird exotic fish, their prize, their reward for you giving them what they want are just like very like mundane books. Like here, advanced mathematics, like seafaring, how to do so ergonomically. I'm like, it's these people must have like very like they have weirdly pedestrian taste in books outside of their very unorthodox lifestyles.
Almost like the narrator might not be reliable. Speaking of, I guess I'll start with Alex. No, I'll start with Chad.
Yes.
What was your ending? What happened near the end of the game for you?
So I did both endings.
Oh, you did do both. All right, well, let Cozy talk then.
Okay,
or Cozy, did you do both as well? Oh, no, you had a platinum, so you probably had to do both, right?
Yeah.
Let's talk about the bad ending first, and then we'll talk about the quote-unquote good ending. Whoever wants to start that can go for it.
So yeah, I mean, I got the bad ending first as well, and I got to be honest, this is one of my other small little complaints with this game. I found the ending to be very short and to the point to a degree that I felt like they could have done a little bit more with it. I prefer a game like this that like doesn't try to drag things out more than they need to be. I appreciate a game that's like, yo, we've said everything that we wanted to say, and that's that. But kind of felt like we could have gone for a little bit more. That creature that rises out of the sea, though, that's a big mama right there.
Yeah, that's an ugly ass.
So many big mamas.
It's a big bitch. Chat. So basically, the bad ending, you go to these 4 areas to collect these 4 relics to give to the collector, the guy who looks like he's always framed in a mirror. If you just are like, yeah, here they are, I'm not going to argue with you. He's like, all right, let's go over here and revive my... Does he say who he's reviving?
I guess
I think
it's
they
his
just
wife.
said her.
He just says her.
Yeah.
Because you find these messages in a bottle that are the story of this woman talking. Well, you don't know whose perspective it's from. There's a lady who's getting married and talking about the stuff with her husband. And then, there's maybe an assumption. Again, I don't remember exactly when clues are given out, but it's basically, hey, a lady is dead. And it's like, if we give these relics to the sea, she'll come back to life. And the fisherman's like, sure, collector, I'll go with you. I won't question you one time about any of this. You do that. You drop all the stuff in the sea, and then a gigantic tentacle monster thing comes out and just destroys the entire world. And it's like, congratulations, the dead ghost lady came up, and then the monster that destroyed the world came up. And that is the bad ending. If you don't question and you just follow orders and you just don't even, try to change.
And then in the credits, it plays while you just watch the village burning.
Yeah, as the world gets destroyed. The quote-unquote good ending is a lot more story stuff, and I think is more interesting, and it kind of explains what the game's actually about. Chad, no, Cozy, you like to talk.
Yeah, I mean, you go to the keeper of the lighthouse, and she basically provides a little bit more context to what's going on. Oh, I forgot to mention, before you even go to the lighthouse, basically you resist, what the collector is selling you on doing, and you kind of come to blows with him.
Before even that, you have to find the old mayor, right? You find the old mayor
after
who
you
tells you,
you talk to the old mayor, and then
Yeah.
you talk to the lighthouse lady.
Chad, I thought you were going to say before even that, you have to turn the game on.
You have to load the game.
Okay.
No, yeah, that's why I did both. It's because I just like happened to find the old mayor, and then like he's like, go talk to the lighthouse lady. I was like, all right. And then I got to that point. I was like, okay, it looks like I'm at a point where I could do either ending. Let me look up which one's which so I can do them both.
When you meet up with the old mayor, he's like, you have the book, don't you? Throw the book in the water, throw it in the ocean, get rid of it. And it's like, well, what are you talking about? I don't have the book. The collector has the book. And so you come to blows with the collector, and it's revealed, turns out that the collector was never actually there. Turns out he was your double, a like ghastly apparition in a mirror that only has the book because you have had the book the whole time. Whoa.
And you are the husband from the story with the dead wife. It was you all along. Which also makes it interesting when you're talking about the guys in the robe figure giving you normal books. Again, it's very Lovecraftian where like this guy gets this book, he gets this forbidden knowledge, and he goes crazy from it. I wouldn't be shocked if those fucking robe dudes aren't real. And you get fine fucking books about math, and you're like, oh, I gotta help this man out. And they're like, there's nobody here. Especially because of the color robes they have. Like the guy who's wearing yellow literally has like gray skin. He's like not even human. It's like, okay, like the king in yellow kind of shit is what we're looking at here. But yeah, so we find out that you are the collector, and then go to the lighthouse, and then what happens?
And then the old lady kind of gives a little bit more context as to exactly what's going on. She kind of reconfirms that, yeah, you've basically had the book this entire time, and that you just simply haven't realized that you've had it until this point. Says, all right, got to go to the same place that you go to in the bad ending of the game. But this time around, you check the boat, you chuck the book in the water, and a big old sea creature swallows you, and that's it. End credits.
It's the Leviathan that swallows you, by the way.
Except for you.
Yeah, because you saved the Earth. So the funny thing is that fish that kills you at the end of the good ending is the same one if you try to ever go out of bounds, he shows up and fucks you up. It's kind of interpreted that like, oh, you have this evil thing. He's like, I'm not going to let you leave this area with that evil thing, that book that you have. So I think, and then again, for you to not summon the big monster that kills the world, I think the Leviathan is like a good guy who's like, I'm just trying to not let this evil get out into the world, is the way I interpret it. Because, I mean, he doesn't hurt anybody except for whenever you try to leave with the evil, or whenever you're willing to sacrifice the evil, then he takes care of it. So Leviathan, good guy all along.
Yeah. Clever little ending. I do want to go, I know we're several conversations past it right now. I do want to go back real quick to the conversation we were having about favorite characters in the game. Love the dog. I love that when you first encounter the dog, he's like on a beach, like eating like rocks and crab shells and all sorts of stuff that dogs shouldn't eat. And you eventually warm up to him, and you eventually bring him back to the scientist lady, and they become friends. And what I appreciated about that is like, this is a, dark, dismal game with Lovecraftian overtones, but there are occasional like moments of happiness here and there, moments where you can actually genuinely make other people's lives better, which I appreciated.
I never found no dog. I want to pet the dog.
You don't
find the dog.
You don't have to even give him up though, Chad. You can keep him with you, but now you should probably give him to the lonely lady. She complains about how much she's lonely. Oh God, I get it. Scientist,
I'm over here just flicking my bean next to this giant kraken.
That is what she's doing. Very good. Yeah. So no, again, I like the ending of the story. Again, I love like a little 10-hour game, dude. I do that all day. It's a good time. I do have some write-ins. You can write into us, respawnaimfire@gmail.com, or you can hit me up in my DMs, or hit us up on Blue Sky in those DMs. Mass Keaton, who sometimes we see in the chat. Let's see. Nope, not that far back. All right, Mass Keaton. Thoughts on Dredge? Never thought cozy horror would be a thing. Oh, said the word. You said cozy. Never thought cozy horror would be a thing, but it worked rather well. I found a lot of satisfaction in upgrading and maximizing the space on my boat. Plot had some fun twist as well. Thank you, Keaton, for writing in and telling us about that. And it's you echo what we say. Hey guys, this game that people like, it's a good game. Enjoy it. Very good. So I think that's it, unless you guys have any last things to say, and then we'll talk about what's coming up next for BARF.
Did either of you play the DLC?
No, I don't own the DLC.
I
Nope.
went to look up what it was. I went to go look up what is what's the shed on the island with the collector that's always locked. And I was like, what did I miss? How do you
Blackstone Keep.
unlock
I do have that. I did pay that $3 for that little DLC pack. Yeah, it just gives you some extra items. Like, so you get like a faster engine.
But then I saw there's like an oil rig.
Yeah, it's oil rig, and
DLC.
then there's like where you go in the snow, and there's like a
there's
narwhal or some shit. Yeah.
It did.
I didn't play it.
I went to go find, like, I was like, let me explore what this DLC is, and I saw the oil rig one, and I thought, because Dredge, I guess it's really Dave the Diver that crosses over with stuff, but I thought it was a crossover with Still Wakes the Deep, which was another Lovecraftian horror game that I fucking loved a couple years ago. And turns out, no, it was not. But I did go immediately from there to the Still Wakes the Deep page, found a $13 DLC there, and downloaded that immediately. So I'm going to play that. Can't wait to do that.
There you go.
Yeah, this past week, I'll definitely get to the DLCs at some point, but this past week was a little busy for me, so I didn't get around to them. Last thing I'll say about the game, Mass Keaton's comments kind of reminded me of this, talking about how this is a cozy horror fishing game. Like, one thing I just really appreciated about this game is, when you first start off, everyone in town warns you, hey, things are really rough at night. Don't go out at night. Fish during the day, come home at night, sleep it off, and then, continue again during the day. And I really love the process of gradually testing the waters, literally, and seeing how far I could push staying up late, especially when the game would ask me to go and do, unusual tasks and requests that could only be completed late at night. And it eventually got to the point towards the end of the game where, like, I could survive through the night, no problem. Still had to be vigilant, still had to pay attention, but I really appreciated the kind of progression that the kind of game encourages you to complete, of starting off as a real scaredy cat, of venturing out at night, to being able to kind of like work with it and survive it, even if it is still a little bit of a struggle.
Very sure.
And that's it.
Yeah. All right. So for the next BARFs, if you're listening to this, the voting might be over. You might have time to vote on Joe still. But we have decided, or you have decided on patreon.com/respawn-aim-fire for a single $1, that's all it takes, to vote on games we will be playing for Game of the Year. So the month of November and December, we don't have BARF episodes because we're playing stuff for Game of the Year consideration. If someone wants to tell me what everyone's current winners are, that would be great, because I don't know. And then Joel's is active, but maybe he has a leader. So I'm just curious personally.
Joel asked everyone to vote for Dispatch.
I mean, he can ask for it. Doesn't mean it's going to happen. You know,
that's
what's currently
he's like, it's up right now. Go vote for Dispatch. That's what he wanted people to do.
Yeah. So starting at the beginning, on October 20th, I posted my poll to Patreon. I asked people to vote between The Alters, Monster Train 2, Despelote, and Dispatch. You all unanimously voted. Well, not unanimously, like 75%. So the majority of you, a good majority of you, voted for me to play The Alters. And I actually have logged quite a few hours into The Alters as of this very moment. I'm actually quite far into the game at this very moment.
I'm excited to talk about it. I fuck with The Alters. So that's cool.
I'm excited to talk about it as well. Chad, you put up your poll. You asked for people to vote between the Sea of Stars DLC, Throes of the Watchmaker, Keeper, Dispatch, and Hell Is Us. And your poll ended in a tie between the Sea of Stars DLC and Hell Is Us.
We have not announced this on content yet, but...
Well, we're announcing it now.
I have decided that I'm going to break the tie and play Hell Is Us, because I was going to play the DLC for the other one probably anyway. So Hell Is Us is the one that I'm like bi-curious about, and I'm just like, this seems like it'd be a good time, but also, do I want to commit to that? And so this is a good excuse to do that. And then I'll play the Sea of Stars DLC. Hell yeah.
Adam, on your poll, you asked people to vote between Jurassic World Evolution 3, Dispatch, Ninja Gaiden Ragebound, and Shinobi Art of Vengeance. And the winner of that poll with 50% of the vote was Shinobi Art of Vengeance. So you should be playing that. And finally,
good sales right
Joel, just a couple of days ago, put up a poll asking you to vote between Donkey Kong Bonanza, Ghosts of Yote, The Outer Worlds 2, and Dispatch. And currently, Ghosts of Yote and Dispatch are tied with 50% of the vote each. So Joel said that he wants you to vote for Dispatch, but obviously there's no reason for you to follow what he says. do what you want. Do whatever your heart says you should do. Or maybe listen to him. I don't know.
I'm logged in right now as Respawn Aim Fire. And I'm going to vote for Dispatch. I did it. I did it.
You can't game the system like that.
Yeah,
that's illegal.
People get on there and vote the other way, so Joel doesn't get to play the game.
Well, here's the thing. The dude, like Donkey Kong Bonanza, the further away I get from that game, like, the less, like, charmed I am by it. It's like, that game was good. It wasn't Game of the Year, but it was good. So, like, I don't want to hear him. I don't want to hear anyone else talk about that game anymore. I'm tired. And then Outer Worlds 2, boo. Didn't like the first one. I don't want to hear people talk about the second one. Ghost of Yotei, I know he's already playing, so play Dispatch, Joel.
There you go. We see the corruption from the commissioner in everyone's plain view. I like it. But that's what we have
worth pointing out,
for BARF for the rest
sorry,
of the year.
real quick, worth pointing out, Dispatch, the one game that all four of us all had in our polls, so I suppose that one of us has to win it at some point.
Or not. It'd be funnier if none of us played it.
The other three of us can't actually be on the review discussion because like, we haven't played it yet. Shut up.
Very good. But yeah, that'll be for the end of the year stuff. And so this is your last regular BARF for the year. Backlog of comments with Respawn and Friends. We talked about Dredge. It's a good time. It's a good video game. Anything? I don't know if there's anything else. I mean, again, Respawn Aim Fire, patreon.com/Respawn Aim Fire. There will be a new Rafter Arc going up by the time you hear this. The one with Manly Brian already came out, and there will be a new one. What's it about? Tune in to find out.
We're about to record it.
I know Manly Brian's in the chat right now. I'll let you know. I've been getting text messages about Manly Brian. Some of them are like, that dude's fucking amazing. Some of them are like, someone do a wellness check on him. That episode is unhinged. I love it so much. So yeah, go listen to that. It's available now for everyone in the whole world.
Very much. All right. That's it. Thank you. Yar, get back on the poop deck. Swab it real good, matey.
Ahoy, hoy.